Welcome to Rotten Taste, where we take a look at movies that are 50% or less on Rotten Tomatoes and tell you why we love them. Here's part 3 of the live action Turtles movies, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, coming out in 1993 and only has, I say only, a 19% score on Rotten Tomatoes. So obviously, Chad and Soto here, and with us for all three Turtle movies, Lee from The Essential Gamer. Lee, how you doing?
Hello, I'm well. I'm looking forward to what is the pinnacle of the Turtles trilogy.
No, you're not.
It
You're
all
not.
comes down to this. This is Turtles 3
Oh, the third
Endgame.
one. Oh no, that's shit. Yeah, that's terrible. That's a terrible movie.
Everything
So,
was building to the third one. All the little notes, all the things, plots, everything's been leading up to this.
Years
so
of story writing.
yeah, we just got done talking about the first two, and with the second one, obviously wasn't as good as the first, but it still had a lot of that, turtle feel, the jokes, Shredder, New York City. And now they're like, let's just take everything you know about the turtles, send them back in 1600 Japan, and say, "Fuck you guys, we're
Hmm.
doing our own thing." Um,
Yes. This is
so
Karate Kid Part 2.
no, I like Karate Kid Part Two. This is Karate Kid Part Three. Karate Kid Part Two is the best, but let's not get into the Karate Kid movies. Right here,
I like
Turtles.
Part 3. Matt Barnes, FYI. Just saying.
Well, don't
We'll
sidetrack
get
me.
there.
But anyhow, so yes, the story starts where back in the past now there's basically a magical scepter, and while the four
Mm.
turtles get transported back in time, um, four samurai come back into our time, and a lot of people thought this was called Turtles in Time, and Netflix has taken to the title, but it's just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. The poster said Turtles travel back in time, hence why a lot of people thought that. I'm
Mm.
just stalling before we get into this movie because I know this movie was shit. This is utter shit. I loved it as a kid though. I think it was just again, I think I was a teenager. It was the juvenile humor. I am a big fan of the samurai era, so you like I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But watching this a couple weeks ago, yeah, no, this broke my heart and broke my childhood nostalgic feelings. Where did this
Wow.
movie go wrong? Right away. I mean, where did this movie go wrong?
Uh, yeah, even as a kid, I was like, this is whack. When I saw the third one. I was like, okay, this is not a high quality. But rewatching it, I mean, where do I fucking start? Like, where do I start?
Let's start at
Let's
the
start at
fact
the
that they
beginning.
made big rubber turtles look even weirder than what they did in the
Yes,
first two movies.
they had a lot more
They
dots
look
on them and stuff,
so
Yes.
like
strange.
freckles and weirdness.
Yeah, the turtles look worse. There wasn't really any action scenes. I mean, the biggest action part was them pretending to be in a hockey fight. Um, yeah. So anyhow, all right. So yeah, they travel
Yeah,
back
you're
in
right. There
time.
wasn't any action.
Yeah, I mean, the action was like the turtles. Michelangelo was he or Raphael jumped into the burning building to save the kid, but they bring it to guns, and that's going to be my point. Is
Which, by the
back then,
way, Michelangelo would have died in that situation. I want to go ahead and just be 100% transparent there. The way that fire was raging and the fact that he just was kind of a little bit damp, he would have died. So, already incorrect. I was like, this is unrealistic.
I
In
want
a
more
movie with turtles
unrealistic in
going
the
atrocities
back
in
in
turtles
my
time.
movie.
feudal Japan Ninja
Yes.
Turtle movies.
I was like, that is where I draw the line. That was unrealistic, sir.
Time traveling is fine, but that fire is raging.
Oh my god! But yeah, so anyhow, back in the wars, back in the 1600s, a merchant's trying to sell guns, and battles are with swords, and yeah, so
Yes.
turtles are now dealing with guns, which I'm like, I guess kind of they did with the Foot Clan in the show a little bit, but they were I don't know, I don't even know where to start with this. It was
I mean, the
just
Foot Clans were like robots in the cartoon, weren't they?
correct. They were robots, hence,
Yeah.
but hence why Leonardo used a sword. But if you notice in like the movies, he never cut anyone.
No, he
They're
never
like, we
killed
can't show
anybody.
blood.
None of these motherfuckers killed a single person in this entire three movies.
No, not the turtles. Casey Jones.
Casey
Well,
Jones is the only one that killed somebody. Or he didn't kill them, but he had the intent to kill somebody. That was
you
Casey.
you killed the main bad guy. But yeah, so first April O'Neil goes back in time. She accidentally was
For
holding the scepter
reasons.
when the prince was holding the scepter at the same time, and I guess
Hmm.
the thought was since they're the same body size, that they could travel in time. That was the big thing. It was the same mask going, and I'm like, okay, does this guy who's muscle bound no samurai as same size as like a teeny reporter?
It's just enough science. That's it. A sprinkle of science for you to be
A
like, I
dusting
can
of
get over that
science.
hump. I can get over the hump enough. That'll get me there.
All right,
Just a
let's
bit.
just
That's
go.
all it takes.
But then let's look at this logically. So the four turtles try to go back to save her, and they're holding it. So
Sure.
they're hoping that four samurai people back in time are holding the scepter at the same time, so they can
With
travel
all in
back in
their heart.
time. Like, where's the
Yeah.
logic in any of this? I mean, I know we lost logic when we sent the turtles back in time. Um, I don't know. I've lost all logic. I've lost all hope for the turtle movies back
Because how
The
then.
much do
time
the
travel is the
shells
most
want?
logical part of the movie. It's the
Yeah.
only bit that makes any sense. It's just everything
It,
else that follows it. It's like, what is
yeah.
happening?
Because they got away a lot more than those four guys that came back. That kept going through my brain over and over again, especially with their shells alone. And if they're 7 feet tall, which they're clearly not, but if they were, that's just not going to work.
Even a regular
Yeah.
sized turtle is going to weigh more than those guys, surely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. And then when they got there, like Donatello had a plan where he was going to just build a time machine from scratch. Just,
Correct.
he gave the
Just give me a
blacksmith some
week.
Because
fucking
Give me a week. I'll be.
blueprints, and he was like, this will do it.
but we'll never know. I'm curious. That's the one thing. I'm curious if that would have worked. All of a sudden, it just gets dropped off the
It
edge.
would not have.
Well, we don't know that Donatello is
Yeah,
smart.
how would it have? Like, it had no magic powers.
How did the
Look,
scepter get
I'm just
magical
living in the
powers to
logic
begin
of.
with?
I don't
Yeah,
know, but it did.
Which,
So,
all right.
Do you know
So,
what I mean?
hang on a
so
minute. I've just thought of
okay.
something. So, the prince is holding the scepter
Yes.
and swaps with April O'Neil.
Yep.
Hmm.
Why didn't he just pick it back up again and hope that
He saw
we?
four turtles and shit his pants. I mean, that you're right. That's end of. We had to have a third movie because otherwise they swap back and like, wow, that was weird. Let's never touch this thing again. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
but then he's got to hope that April's touching it. And not only that, they swap clothes too, which, just that
Yeah.
just that's why the same size thing. So yeah, the prince, was wearing her clothes and she was wearing his. But I will say one thing I did like, at least in the beginning, was the fact that they brought back Casey Jones.
Yes.
They
Kind of,
did.
obviously
Not
for the
only
New
did
York
they bring
scenes.
back Casey Jones,
Yeah,
but
and
didn't they bring back feudal Japan Casey
Casey
Jones
Jones.
as well?
They did.
Yeah,
They
something like
did.
that.
It was
Because
two
they had to
Casey
have,
Jones for the
we're
price
like,
of
we got
one.
Elias Cortez. Let's
Yeah.
use him as
Let's
much as we can.
maximize his freaking contract. Yeah.
But so I was happy to see the actual Casey Jones back. Obviously, though, he was there just to babysit the samurai and show them
Yeah.
hockey and stuff like that. But yeah, so back
His
in
hair
time
was
there.
gorgeous.
Well, he does have the long hair. I mean,
His,
obviously
his wig
keeps
that
it.
he had was phenomenal. Absolutely great. The way
Beautiful
like the light
extensions.
came through it, it was great.
So we go back. Donatello made the scepter. They're hoping that this was their plan because they didn't have a plan. They didn't know where the original was, and it turned out these villagers were hiding the scepter the whole time because they
Hmm.
wanted them to stand and fight with them because they can
Hmm.
obviously battle against guns. So, Turtle's like, oh,
Clearly,
you guys are
especially with
dicks.
nunchucks.
Uh,
I
I
mean,
mean,
obviously they must have thought of a way to get guns in, and they were like, look, we can't have everyone brandishing AKs because they just murk these four turtles. As long as they're not facing away from them, they've got no protection. How can we make it feasible? And
right?
obviously, someone in the back just went muskets, and is like, oh
Yes.
yeah, of course. Let's get him. Let's make sure we can get him shot at with muskets, and it'll all be fine.
it'll be
Yep.
Oh,
funny.
just I hate everything about the process behind the thought of this movie.
It was the final frontier. Space was the only other option, and they,
Turtles in space. It would have been a better
yeah,
movie. I would have rather seen lasers. Like, let's just get
yeah,
it over with. Atomize them.
because yeah, I would have been about that. Now I'm gonna be thinking about that for the rest of the day. Space
Well,
ninjas, space
one
turtles.
one thing we got from this is they accidentally invented the frisbee. I mean, he tried to make a pizza and burnt it, and then he's like frisbee, and it worked. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, was that what that was?
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look for the slither of high points of this film. I'm trying to at least give this a benefit of the doubt, and I really, really can't at the moment.
Well, how about
I,
So,
this?
so
How about
far,
there's
we've got
another
Casey
instance of
Jones.
like, oh my
Go on.
God, Casey Jones is great, but the bestiality has returned.
Oh yeah. They just couldn't
Okay.
leave it alone, could they?
No, they just had to have some sort of Mikey has a crush on this chick, and how was that even going to happen? Chad, your thoughts?
Well, she's supposed to be engaged, or to the prince that's sent elsewhere. So that's why she turned his advances, because Mikey's got game, and that shit was going to happen regardless.
He's a fucking turtle, bro.
He's
Listen,
a
I don't have
player.
explanations for you for everything.
What
uh,
game, dude? They're not even the same species. That's weird.
I know, I know, I know. I'm just trying to give some kind
He's
But
of.
he's got a
fucking
wonderful
naked, and I don't even know
personality,
where all his shit
Soto.
is. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's a complicated fucking situation right there.
Oh, oh,
As
I
an
don't know
adult,
what.
I'm trying to be like, how are these two gonna smash? Like, logically, I can't see it, dude.
The anatomy does not work.
No.
So again, we get to the end of this film. The bad guys got the cannon ready to shoot at the turtles, and
Oh
quickly,
god,
they duck in their shells. Remember that they're a
they do.
turtle. Misses.
Yeah, didn't look weird at all.
No,
No.
no. But then all of a
Looked
sudden,
natural.
he's trying to escape and then falls off the edge into the unknown and is dead. Again, all three turtle movies with the main bad guy has an anticlimactic ending. And I'm just like, I mean, granted, there wasn't much fighting in this. There wasn't much of anything in this. The lead Shmee to his Captain Hook was getting wet willied all the
Yeah.
time from the turtles.
Yeah,
Not like that.
which was gross.
Donatello, which yes, Corey Feldman does return. It's like, were you expecting the Addams family? I don't know, and I think that's the other thing. The juvenile jokes did not work compared to like the first, even the second film to a point. Like nothing worked in this, and I don't know why. I did like it as a kid. I didn't say I loved it, but I did like it. But watching it back, I'm like, I don't ever want to go back and watch this again. I
It makes me wonder if this was Corey Feldman's like downturn of his career because like Dream a Little Dream 2 was like around 1993 and like he really had no reason to go back to the Ninja Turtles, but then he needed money and so this was certainly not his greatest work, I will say.
I mean, it's easy work. He's just doing his voice. He's just in a studio. It's not like he has to show up on
Yeah,
set. He can just show up
True.
however he wants to look. He doesn't
Doing
have to do his
roundhouse
hair.
kicks.
It's just
doing
like, yep.
roundhouse kicks, yeah.
Uh,
Falling in love with chicks, human
It's just.
chicks.
I mean, isn't there more than one moment where like the turtles are just making friends with kids?
yeah.
Throughout the entire. Doesn't someone save someone? Isn't there like?
Well, yeah.
I know
See,
you did the burning building bit, but is it like? One of them does CPR, don't they?
yeah. So when they say
Yes.
Mikey saves Yoshi, one of the other ones, Raphael, does mouth to mouth, and they think they're demons,
A
basically.
rat taught him that, by the way. Just FYI,
Yes.
context.
A
Yes.
rat taught
Taught
me
by a rat.
CPR.
Yep,
Yeah. So
that's the only way.
and
That
they thought they were
works.
trying to
It's the only
possess
way.
him, and they're like, let him try, let him try. And I'm like, all
Mhm.
right, that's actually probably the most logical response ever, because she's like, what the fuck are you doing, my kid? Because obviously CPR did not exist back then. Then they save him, and they're just like, what is the sorcery? Um, yeah, no, and then yeah,
Yeah.
all the kids love him, be friends. Mikey, Raphael. Raphael is like the one the kids love the most, and that he has fallen from just being the guy that goes out in dark alleys, just wanting to be by himself, fuck the world, to be like, hey man, I love kids. Maybe I can have kids one day.
Screaming damn into the sky. Oh, I missed that, Raphael. Damn! Just that was his whole thing.
You've never felt more emotion than in a Raphael Dam.
I mean, he just walks in and like Splinter's been abducted. The camera just spins around him. He just starts screaming to the heavens. I mean, that unbridled fury just waned and waned until, as Chad's point now, it's just barely embers.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm just turtled out, and after like I said, the second one I enjoyed, the third one
Like Raphael, I'm done.
I have now.
This series of podcasts is like the actual movies themselves. The first one, we're full of life and vigour. The second
Awesome.
one, we're sort of still enjoying it, but it's starting to run out a little bit, and now we're just completely fucking done with it. We've had enough.
Yes, bestiality was said. Everything's got out the window. It's like, my
Nonsensical
goodness.
time travel. Yeah, it's all too much. It's all too much.
But
And
all right.
again, there was never another live action one made, correct? Or was it all been CG ones?
CG ones, because then the
CG
2007 they had the cartoon one, TMNT, which I actually remember
Oh.
liking, and then I have no inkling to watch the new ones. I'm not. No. Those
They
things
look a
look
lot
fucked up.
They
darker,
look
more
so
like
weird.
edgelordy. It's like, nah, I'm good.
Darker I can handle, just as far as if it was
Of
a dark
course you
tone
can.
like the first one, but just I don't know. They just look so weird. Like I don't know. So
All
I'm
roided
not
up
gonna see them, but
monster looking things.
I don't know.
Yeah, the
Someday
first one was a
maybe.
lot more adult, that's for sure. A lot more adult feeling. Like as it went on, it became much more of a kids like just TV show.
Hmm.
But
That
all
was
right,
worse than the
Stupid
actual TV
kids
show.
ruining everything.
I know.
The
Me,
kids
I,
ruined my
goddamn you,
turtles.
me.
just because I want to, I'm getting off term. I'm going to give you one more fun fact before we end this episode, and it actually has nothing to do with this movie, but I'm just so when they made the toys. So obviously in the comics, the original
Mhm.
comic, the turtles had tails, like very little tails, and that
I
was the
thought you were
only
gonna
time
say
they showed
tits
tails.
for a second there.
No, no, no. Well, we don't know. We don't know what's under those shells. Then there was a female turtle one time, but that's for a different story. But anyhow, when they made the toys, they were trying to add the tails, but it came down between their legs that it kind of looked like a dick. So they're like, well, fuck it, we're just cutting their tails. We can't have this. But yeah, so that's
Yeah, heaven forbid they have dicks.
oh, that's it.
Like,
That's it. So I don't know why I watched the toys.
that's it.
That's it. They they,
They
they
had
got
dicks,
they got
and then they
That's
didn't
the long
have
and short of
dicks.
it.
The
That's it.
end. It's like, oh man, okay.
oh my god,
They
I'm
got
sorry.
spayed.
Castrated by Fisher Price.
Womp womp.
All right. Anything else you want to bring up? Anything else you can actually
That's why
remember that you
Raphael's
like?
so pissed off. He had his dick cut off.
I mean, I'm
He's
not gonna lie.
fuming.
As a kid, I was like, "Where are their dicks?" Like, it's a valid question to ask.
How do these
And
guys
this,
piss?
yeah, exactly.
What's
It's like
going
it's
on?
basic ass shit,
Is it
right? But
like
then it's like,
wearing like a
oh,
onesie and they've
we
got to
can't let
take
the
off the
kids
shell?
know. It'll look like a dick. We don't want kids to know that these turtles have dicks, or that they kill anybody. Like, no, that's crossing the line. It's like, wow, okay, interesting.
No, they can cut up, the mechanical foot soldiers, crush Shredder in a, garbage truck, kill Splinter's master, in front of him.
He did, yes. That
But
was
yeah,
violence.
any
That was
inkling
violence.
of a turtle dick, done. We can't have it.
Get that
Yet,
out of here.
yet, nah. Oh, Jesus
All
Christ.
right, I'm done. I'm done. I can't. Unless there's anything else about this movie you want to bring up. This film,
Uh, no, that's it. That's it.
Nah, Turtle
yeah,
Dicks
I'm
is
good.
definitely a good place to end it for me.
yeah, because that's
That's
how I feel about
fucking
this movie.
perfect.
That's how we feel about this movie. Like, it makes no sense. We need
What a
something better to
journey.
talk about.
What a journey this has been. I've learned something, and that's the most important part. My character is
Ju-
grown.
we're,
Oh my
we're all
god.
much better than we were when we started, so that's the
Yeah.
key thing.
100%. 100%.
So before we go, Lee, thank you. I mean, honestly, thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us for all three of these movies. So let's get past this last train of thought here.
Thank you for having me. It's
But
been a pleasure.
it was fun going down childhood memories with this. Very nostalgic. I mean, like I said, the Turtles in a nutshell were the best part. Them and He-Man were my two go-tos. So thank you for joining us for these talks. So
Turtles in a half shell, you mean?
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Correction. Editorial correction.
Sorry, I missed the pun.
Oh.
I can't do it anymore. After talking about the third, I just can't. I can't. I'm turtled out.
It's okay.
All
It's
right.
not your fault, Chad. It's not your fault.
Oh, can we get Vanilla Ice back? Anyhow, thank you for joining us. Tell us what you thought of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Actually, if you liked it, or any parts that you didn't like, which was the whole fucking movie. And
Yeah.
until next
If you
time,
liked it, I'm scared.
have a good one.
Bye.